trays with your seats in an upright position.
Please put your tray tables and seat backs and they're locked in upright position.
Locked in upright
You know you've been doing
position.
this for a long time when your headphones are all beat up. You're on your second pair?
I'm on my second. No, but I gave the new pair to potential guests.
Oh, there you go. That's right. Because
you're
selfless.
I'm a good human.
I wouldn't. Let's not stretch it too far. I feel like that would be a little deceptive. We're not about that on this show.
Yeah, misrepresenting.
Yeah, you know.
All right. Welcome back to the #1 financial literacy podcast in the world. This is The Higher Standard. Sitting in front of me is my partner in time, Christopher Nahibi.
Sitting across from me, my partner in crime, the one and only, the very striped up Saied Omar.
Got my ditty on. And sitting behind the desk, the Fijian himself, Rajil.
Hey,
Aloha.
Aloha, Bula.
I don't know how I like it with him sitting behind a curtain.
You can't see his face.
I can't see his face. He could be flipping me off right now. I have no idea.
He might be.
Yeah, exactly.
You never know.
So today we got a lot of things to talk about. Later on in the show, we're going to talk about how the real power lies in ownership. Ownership of assets, ownership of businesses, ownership of time and the decisions you make, right? We talked a lot about it in episode 291, where the educational system did not teach us this.
No, not
Right?
at all. And it's kind of like a progression, if you will, of, okay, so we know the educational system doesn't teach us this, but then there's what came next that made it worse.
Mm-hmm.
For a long time in American history, the idea of education being what it is today and what it originally started off on was okay because corporate America had a commitment level which afforded almost everybody a guaranteed middle class so long as they did all the right things. But that social contract has now been broken. And I thought, taking a little bit of what we learned about the educational system in episode 291, and then overlaying it on to how corporate America has failed to keep up their end of the bargain, all under the auspices of chasing profits and being, separate. I think one of the big disconnects for a lot of people is that they're like, oh my God, that was so cruel. Well, companies are not humans. Companies, as a fiduciary, as an executive of a publicly traded company, your fiduciary responsibility is to the shareholder. And if you're publicly traded, you have the burden of being pressured into increasing your profits quarter after quarter and seeing growth quarter after quarter, regardless of the economic outcome. So that being said, companies can do some things that seem heartless because there isn't really a heart in those decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to go over that in context, but first I want to do away with a little bit of, nonsense.
Have to. There's no way we can just gloss over what happened this past weekend and last week.
Oh, do tell, Saied.
Yeah. Well, do you want to get into home sales first, or do you want to get into the #1 friendship in the nation?
The #1 friendship. Well, home sales are the volume of sales are going down, but yet home prices are still going up. We're at the highest average home price, median home price across the country, well over $450,000, which is insane. And all I can tell you is we're not going to feed into hysteria that there really does need to be a home price correction at this point in time. Whether anybody agrees with that or not, it's all on you. But I'm telling you, there's just no other way.
And I know there's a few listeners out there. There are a few realtor listeners out there that are listening to the show and be like, "It's not true, man. In my neighborhood, in my region, home prices are down 6%." Well, that just means somewhere else in the nation it's up 7%, right? So
real estate is very, very subjective. It's very, very market based, and it's very, very niche. Kind of niche.
Niche.
There you go. Yeah. Do I sound sophisticated?
So sophisticated.
Yeah. So it can happen that way. But yeah, Austin's taken a massive hit downward in price. Parts of Florida taking a massive hit downward in price. Yet in Orange County, you've got prices going up still, which is kind of wild when you think about it.
There's where I live, I'm the main street, one main street over away from a hillside. And the homes that are up against that hillside, literally just one main street over, right? They're slashing their prices right now, like $70,000, $100,000,
Yeah.
But where I'm at, you wouldn't need to because just for property insurance.
Right? And that's the craziest thing ever is that you see these home prices in just one street over being affected differently than the street somebody's on.
They can't even get they can't even get fire hazard insurance on that side. They have to go through California Fair Plan.
Yeah. Oh, because
nobody will insure them.
Which is wild when you think about it too. There's so many things that are happening now, and we're going to get into a lot of this in the show, that are so lopsided towards corporate America and against the consumer that we're getting to a point where it just doesn't feel fair anymore.
Exactly.
California Fair Plan is not fair.
See, the names, they're so creative.
It's so insulting. It makes you think it's fair in the name.
Yeah, it's the Inflation Reduction Act, Chris. We're reducing inflation.
Doesn't actually reduce inflation.
No, it's not what it does.
Yeah.
The big, beautiful bill. It's actually pretty ugly. I don't know. It doesn't feel beautiful to me.
I was so tired of all that nonsense by that time that I just didn't even dive into it.
Oh.
I was like, you know what? Nope, not doing it.
Bro,
I can't read another bill, which is completely the polar opposite of what everybody's telling you.
Yeah, it's so wild how they're in your face with, like, it's not this, but we're just going to call it this.
Yeah. So let's talk about the two best friends that anyone ever had.
Oh, I mean, JP and DJ.
Yeah. They're not friends. So just to be clear, I posted this on X. I think it's worth a share because there's just like this massive disconnect. Okay,
Trump's talking, and JP's just like, no, that's not true.
And again, this is not political. Okay,
right.
This is just purely economics.
Well, let's do a little. Is there going to be a little bit of a backstory?
Yeah. Well, not the backstory is why the relationship fell apart, but more of like the FOMC is what I was getting.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, get the backstory.
Well, lately, the administration has found a bone to pick with and potentially a reason to, because we all know that the president can't unilaterally go out and fire.
Which is what I'm going to explain,
right? Yeah. Which is what you're going to explain. But they're trying to find a loophole and saying, you said the renovation cost for this Federal Reserve building was going to be 2.5 billion, right? Not a million, 2.5 billion. It's actually costing 3.1. Well, these are the new numbers.
Jill pulled it up here. So we're taking a look, and it looks like it's about 3.1 billion. Mr. Trump started in, prompting Mr. Powell to shake his head. It went up a little bit or a lot.
Yeah, it went up a little bit. It went up a little bit. Actually, kind of a lot. Yeah. And JP's just shaking his head, and then of course Trump just had it ready, pulls it out of his pocket. He's like, no, this just came out earlier today. You should read this. You're like, how is this real life? Why is this being played out for the public to see?
Yeah, so just to read this exchange to give you an idea, you just added in a third building, Mr. Powell said. It's a building that's being built, Mr. Trump said. No, it was built 5 years ago, Mr. Powell said. This is like how catty we're getting. Yeah. They're in hard hats, by the way, when this is happening.
And all the captions across social media was like, this is a scene straight from The Office.
They're in hard hats walking through a construction site, and it looks like somebody like forced the other person to be there. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it was. I mean, but here's the thing, right? JP's term is up May of next year.
So let's get into this.
Let's do it. Okay, I don't know what. Let's hear what.
So the president cannot fire the chair of the Federal Reserve just because they disagree on his policies, which is why he's fishing for things like this to find a, quote, reason to terminate him. The chair of the Federal Reserve is a member of the Board of Governors, and like all governors, they can only be removed, quote, for cause. Hence the reason why he's looking for this. If he tries to say that he's abusing his power or he's not being, honest, then he can be removed for cause, i.e. misconduct, neglect of duty, or incapacity. Mm-hmm. The chair's title as chair is a 4-year designation made by the president, but their underlying position as a governor lasts up to 14 years. And is protected from arbitrary dismissal. You can't just be like, all right, you're out, buddy.
Mind you, DJ appointed him.
Yeah, originally.
But he tries to claim that Biden did, but they got footage showing that he appointed him.
Yeah, which is all over the interwebs. Mm-hmm. So while the president can choose not to reappoint the chair when the 4-year term as chair ends, they cannot simply fire the chair in the middle of the term without cause. And the reason for all this, there's supposed to be independence. Mm-hmm. You don't want somebody controlling monetary policy that has political incentives to do so. You want somebody who's politically neutral.
Right.
Hence the reason that Powell won't even wear a blue or a red tie. He only wears purple ties.
There you go, right? And big disconnect for a lot of people. There's monetary policy, and then there's fiscal policy, right? Yeah. Fiscal policy is what the government chooses to do with the budget, what Congress chooses to do with the budget. Monetary policy is the FOMC, and they're trying to control inflation, right? And provide maximum employment. And they believe, and I mean, and it's left up to our opinion whether they're doing a good job of this or not. Okay, but they believe by controlling the interest rates, they control, I guess, how well the economy is doing and how healthy the economy is.
This is arguably the best daytime TV show on television right now.
I'm plugged in. I'm locked in. Yeah.
The caddy back and forth is hilarious. And the sad part is that when you get into the details, so let me finish up here. Jerome Powell's term as chair of the Federal Reserve began with his second appointment on May 23rd, 2022, and is set to expire on May 15th, 2026. So it's coming up, right? His underlying appointment, though, however, as a member of the Board of Governors runs through January 31st, 2028. So even if you remove Jerome Powell as the Fed chair, he's still a voting member of the FOMC.
True.
And to be clear, let's just throw this out there, even if you get rid of Jerome Powell, there's still 10 other members who vote, who make these decisions. So it's not like you get rid of him and all these decisions change.
Who are supposed to remain unbiased, but have a relationship with their boy. I mean, this is their boy.
Yeah.
They work with him.
You would think.
Yeah, and he's the one that's standing up at the post-game press conferences, taking the heat, taking all the Q's and A's for all the decisions that the other guys are making.
Oh, yeah.
Guys
and
and
the
gals.
president's fire coming down is really not just on Jerome Powell. It's on the whole FOMC.
Yes.
So
Right.
if the president tries to remove him, there's going to be some salt in the FOMC's wound.
Right. And now let's be clear here. In June, after the June meeting, right, they released the state summary of economic projections, right, the SEP.
Yep.
And it said in there, by the end of the year, we'll probably cut rates 2 more times. There's only 4 meetings left, okay? And it's widely accepted that it's not happening in July next week, which the week this episode drops, this week, right?
I don't see it happening either.
It's not going to happen, no. Over 95% chance that it's not happening. So that just 3 remaining meetings after that. So what everyone believes, even though they're supposed to be like unbiased, if Jerome Powell does step down and let's just say he completes his term and he leaves and a new FOMC chair is appointed, that would be from the president, right? That whoever comes in, they're cutting rates. That deal has been made. You're going to come in and you're going to cut rates.
So, and again, just because I know what's on the internet, okay? If you're in the real estate business, whether you're a mortgage broker, mortgage loan officer, or you're a realtor, I know you pee a little bit in your pants and you go, oh my God,
It's happening.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Let's be clear. There is a visible and palpable disconnect to the bond market right now and what's happening here. Mortgage rates are about 650-ish as of today. Today is the 27th.
Okay,
right?
I thought they were a little bit higher. Okay.
There might be a little higher. There's no
Okay.
680 something.
Okay. I
depending.
think it was 6.8. Okay.
Yeah, 650 to 680. If you have a good credit, you can probably get in the 6.5
Okay.
range. I do not foresee those rates going down meaningfully because the Fed cut rates. And to be clear, if the Fed cuts rates, that's the Fed funds rate. That's the cost of banks to borrow. And you go, oh, okay, well, banks will pass along that savings on to me, the consumer. No.
Come on. They're not in the business to help you.
No. Think of banks, the Fed funds rate, like tariffs. Okay? Yeah. You added tariffs. We all got used to tariffs. It's been a long time. We've had tariffs there. Do you think companies are going to go, you know what? If tariff costs go down and I can charge the same amount of money, I can become more profitable by just keeping pricing the same.
So this is really where there's been a little bit of a beef for quite some time now, but what's really escalated the beef between the two gentlemen has been this. Jerome Powell was asked directly, if the tariffs didn't go in place, would you have cut rates already? He's like, yeah, we probably would have. Yeah, but
which was a strange way for him to answer. As a guy who's been ambiguous for a long time,
right.
If you're Trump, you go, shots fired.
Yeah, because literally there's no other person you can blame the tariffs on other than DJ. Yeah. It's like that guy chose to do it, right? So it's like if it wasn't for him, we would have cut rates by now.
But from a data perspective, I think
you can't blame him. You can't blame him for not cutting rates, right?
No, I can't blame him for not cutting rates. But what I would say is Jerome Powell has been so polished in everything that he said for so long. Why go out on a limb and say that? Like, why can't you just say we don't know what would have happened? All we can tell you is what did happen, and now.
Well, because we know, like we've talked about on the show, we know what tariffs do, right?
They're inflationary.
Yeah. And it's a tax that the consumer ultimately has to pay. The business owner isn't going to pay this, right? They got to pay more for materials. Well, I got to keep my profits, so now the prices of my things have to go up. Now, what they think is a lot of businesses front-loaded their inventory ahead of time to deal with the tariffs that are coming. So Jerome Powell says we haven't really seen the full effects of tariffs yet.
I think that's true.
Right? So we need to sit back, hold tight for a little bit to see how this plays out, because we know businesses aren't going to just increase their prices to now match their profits. They don't want there to be that sticker shock price.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that's true.
Yeah. Right? That's a prudent way to practice a business, right? Like, you're not just going to increase your prices 100% if that's what your tariff was, right? You're going to slowly ease it in. So I think the FOMC is right in doing that. And here's the other part. The data isn't helping anybody. Unemployment went down.
Yeah.
Unemployment went down from 4.2 to 4.1. So he's like, why did I got cut rates?
Yeah. You guys can all find new jobs.
Yeah. Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
Right?
Which is not true. So I'm going to be forthcoming about something that I haven't talked about on the show. I am no longer employed. I've talked about it on social media. Clearly, my social profiles, including LinkedIn, have changed. I will honor my commitment of transparency to people who listen to the show at some point in time, and I will get into it. But it's still a little fresh, and I'm still trying to figure things out as to what the new normal will look like for me. But which means I can do whatever the fuck I want now.
I can, yeah. Saied so clean.
Yeah, but that being said, I know that a lot of people have a lot of questions, and I know that a lot of people want to know kind of the history and the details there. Why I want to do a full unpacking of why and kind of the logic, but it's gonna take a little bit of time before we get there. But I did want to say that because what we're jumping into today is how corporate America broke the social contract, how wages are down, debt is up, and loyalty, at least for me, feels dead. And I'm saying that because I have a fresh bias on some level that I want to be open and acknowledge. But I will say that I felt this way for a long time. And I don't think that doing this show has done anything to dissuade me from how I feel that corporate America isn't keeping up their end of the deal. And I'm just now in a position where I feel like I can be a little more open about it. But I also want to do so in a collegial way where I'm not trashing any one company. I'm just saying this is how all companies operate right now, and the paradigm has shifted in a measurable, meaningful way. So shall we jump in?
Let's do it.
All right. So the biggest education gap is really in our wallets. And as much as social media really tries to take this up a notch and say, hey, there's all these secrets, all these hidden agendas, a lot of what we're going to unpack today explains why the guru phenomenon on social media is so prevalent. It explains why they are able to fill this gap and sensationalize things that are really misrepresented, and why most consumers of their product don't understand that it's misrepresented. If you understand how money worked, you'd stop trading your time for money.
What does that mean? Unpack that.
There's a couple different ways I can do this, but I'm going to do it the most obvious way. When you are a W-2 employee and you go to work, you are paid for the hours that you work. Now, you can be exempt and non-exempt, which you can either get paid hourly or you can get paid a salary. And if you get paid a salary, most people who get paid a salary actually work more hours than 40 hours a week.
That's true.
And what I'll tell you is it's tantamount to trading time for money. And as we go through today's episode, I'm going to explain how there is a misconception in hustle culture that working harder means you make more money. It does not always mean that you make more money.
I agree. When you first graduate high school, I think what a lot of people, especially, I think I'm going to speak on behalf of like my culture, right? Get a safe job.
Yeah.
Right? Get a good job. Get a high paying salary. Get good benefits.
Yep.
And these things that were being taught to us are really the things that have been holding us back the most.
Yeah, and if you were a good student and you bought into this, and you were complicit in this whole educational process, then that's exactly what you should believe.
Now, I've been very fortunate to get some of these things, right? I have gotten good jobs. I have got a good salary, right?
There's nothing wrong with it.
It has provided me to afford a lot for my family, which I'm extremely grateful for. Yeah. But it's also created a mindset for me that has left me at times feeling trapped.
The fear mindset.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And
that's the biggest part. That's the biggest problem that I have with corporate America today is using fear to make employees feel like they have to stay.
Right.
That bothers me. And it's not a company doing that. It's just that's the zeitgeist.
Right. It's not exactly. It's not them. I don't know how much of it is. It's hard to put a pinpoint on saying this is intentional versus like it's just kind of just happens.
I don't think it is intentional.
Right.
I think it's a byproduct of a system educationally that we talked about in episode 291,
Mm-hmm.
but also of the stock market, of the expectations on companies. It's equally not fair to tell a company, hey, regardless of what happens in the economy, regardless of what happens politically, I need you to make more money every quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're a company and you were a person that was speaking, you'd be like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah. Yeah, I know you did a really good job last quarter. I'm gonna need you to do that a little bit better again this quarter.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a quote earnings miss, the stock market reacts. Your stock price goes down. Your shareholders lose value.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these things are bad.
Right.
So it's not a company being malicious, but it's the preconceived notion that you can outperform every single quarter that's expected. That kind of gets you to a point where the employees take less benefit at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and really this boils down to I was always taught, and I can only speak on behalf of myself, and you guys chime in, Rajil, you too, right? I was taught that if you're wealthy, you have a high paying, you have a good salary, right? If you get $1 million in the bank, you're rich, right? I think real wealth isn't built through the salary that you earn, but in the investments and the assets and the businesses and the time that you have to where you can make your own decisions, right? That to me is, now that I'm older, if I could speak to my younger self, I would, it sounds nice in theory. Like you hear these words, you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But like, what does that mean? Right? I wish I could go back to my younger self and, teach him that.
And we've also done something really bad to ourselves by over stigmatizing words and not changing socially. So a great example of this is the ideology of being a millionaire used to be sensational. It is not sensational anymore.
Yeah.
I know that's going to upset a lot of people.
Yeah.
But billionaires truly are the new millionaires because there's a whole hell of a lot more millionaires today because the value of a dollar has gone down a great deal than there were 100 years ago, 50 years ago, even 20 years ago. And because of that escalation in overall net worth and the cost of living, I would argue that being a 7-figure millionaire is not that impressive anymore.
Wow.
I know that's a terrible thing to say. I recognize it's stigmatizing.
But it's still a step in the ladder that you should try to get to, and it should be that much more achievable now.
Yeah, I don't like Grant Cardone. I'm not a fan.
On the record, right?
On the record. He has a quote saying if you make $400,000 a year or less, that you're basically like poor or something to that effect. I don't remember the exact language of it because he just pisses me off. I would say something a little different. I would say that in some areas where the cost of living is higher, and if you're a W-2 employee and you're getting taxed, in that case, of up to 58% in some states, that $400,000 a year is not enough.
True. It's true.
It's not enough.
And that's crazy to even begin to think about.
It is. And then you start layering in some of the other challenges of this whole problem, which I think in my mind is interesting too, is that we still hold on to 20 years ago's philosophy of what was a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because when I think of when I was in school, and I'm 45.
I just thought of a meme that I saw over the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Al Bundy was considered fat and poor.
Bro, he was younger than me.
He was younger than you. He was skinnier than a majority of the population now, and he owned $1 million. He owns $1 million home.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean that's right? How much life has changed.
Yeah, yeah.
And if Al Bundy were still in that house today, he'd be balling.
Balling.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it'd be a different situation. So let's pick back up on episode. Oh, here you go. There are over 22 million millionaires in America, which means that roughly 1 in 15 Americans are millionaires per the 2024 UBS Global Wealth Report. Good find, Rajil. The report also shared that the millionaire population in the U.S. is expected to grow 16% to 25.4 million by 2028.
I hope I'm one of them.
Okay, so
I hope so too, man. I'm right now.
Hey,
one
me
of
and
those
you, bro.
14.
Let's get it. Hey, let's get after it together.
Yeah.
And look, we can go down this path too. We've talked about it on previous shows. The single largest contributor to most Americans' net worth is the equity value, the appreciation in their home over time. We often say on the show that your home should not be an investment. It should be used for utility. But certainly if you can get equity appreciation over time, that's a great add to your net worth. And it is the single largest contributor to most Americans' net worth.
To most, right.
However, if you have home affordability at its absolute worst in history and people cannot buy and the younger generation, all the way up to even some of the older generation, can't get their first home, then they're not building that wealth. So now you're going to have this, and again, home values went up 46% in a single year in the last couple of years, and it continues to rise. Home values have not gone down in most areas.
Right.
So what happens? Yeah, you do have a lot more millionaires now, but you're not going to have that cadence increase over time, and there's going to be a crunching of the middle class. You're going to have a lower class that's going to increase, and you're going to have an upper class, which is going to increase, and you're going to have a middle class, which is going to shrink.
True.
That's what's going to happen here. Okay?
Yeah.
It's just life.
It's factual. All right.
So the public education in the U.S. wasn't just careless about financial education that we talked about in episode 291. We were clear on why it was deliberate. We talked about the Rothschilds, the Vanderbilts, J.P. Morgan, the people who really wanted skilled workers, and they were really defining with the U.S. government what they wanted their workers to be, not what would be best for you financially. So this was intentionally excluded as part of the education, because having a good worker who aspires to be wealthy as opposed to aspiring to have consistency, comfort, and a W-2 wage coming in, that creates a very disconnected employee, right? They're searching for other things. And I can tell you from personal experience, as a W-2 employee, even at a high level in a publicly traded institution, I was always looked at with a side eye because I was very open about wanting other businesses. Yet the irony is that most executives, people who are wealthy, do have side businesses that create passive income.
Oh, yeah.
It's not uncommon.
Right.
Because if you're a wealthy individual, you can buy stock, right? You can buy real estate.
You can invest in real estate.
You can invest in businesses. And yet, even if it's not passive, if it's active income or passive income, everybody always kind of looks at you as a side eyes. Ooh, is that a conflict?
Yeah, right. Looking for the conflict.
Ooh, is that a conflict? It's what Trump is doing to Jerome Powell right now. Ooh, is that a conflict? I can't get rid of you for it, but I can get rid of you for this.
Yeah,
you know, and that's where it's to me, it's so disingenuous that we want people who are entrepreneurial and successful, who have that mindset, that work ethic, but that we want their work ethic to end when they leave the building.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. What do you think it is? Do you think it's a fear that it might catch on like wildfire, and then everyone just starts breaking the mold? Like, is that like? I mean, obviously, look, it's no secret. I've said this on the show now. It's like part of the American dream that has been sold on to us is to own a home.
Yeah.
Right. You said it before. Life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness meant to own a home.
That's right.
Right. And owning a home meant putting you in a 30-year fixed mortgage. Right. Just pay this payment every month. And what do you need to make that payment? You need a job.
Consistent income.
Right. Consistent income. They need to be able to predict your behavior for a certain amount of time so that other businesses can react accordingly. Right. So all this is no different. And they need to know that you're going to come to work every day.
Yep.
You're going to be here because, hey, we're all at-will employees. Right? Or at least the majority of people. People at the top, no, they're on contracts, whatever, but majority of people out there are at will. But are you really at will, or you have to be there tomorrow?
Well, and let's not forget there's a social pressure outside of your written contract. And a corporation can be like, look, you're at will, bro. You can quit anytime you want. I'm not forcing you to stay.
Yeah, but I bet you do. I bet you do stay.
Yeah. And that's unfortunate, right? And when you think about unemployment being this low, and competition being what it is, you would think that there'd be enough people changing jobs consistently to where there would be pressure on companies to continue to provide benefits. But we haven't seen that in the market. Matter of fact, we've seen the opposite. We've seen companies pull back on benefits for employees to maintain their earnings, their profitability.
Right. Some of the perks that they were getting, yeah.
Right. Unless you're, somebody who's now the new head of AI over at Facebook. Damn, $200 million, bro.
Bro, what?
$200 million.
Come on,
Although
man.
I did hear there's a new CEO position available for astronomer.
Bro, that was so wild. And you know what's even crazier about that? I saw a social media post, and this is a whole nother show for another topic. But the head of HR, she's married too, and no one's talking about her husband.
No, I've seen people talk about it.
Nah, come on. Not enough. It's the other way, which is rightfully so. But I'm just saying, it's messed up. There's a guy on the other end too.
No, 100% there is. And they were both married. And the whole thing, first of all, who reacts that way? Okay, if you get caught stealing, your job is not to look like you got caught stealing.
Bro.
Oh, hey, man, Tim called me and told me to pick this up.
Yeah, man. That was karma working in its like finest like way.
And shout out to Coldplay. You should be trolling everybody every concert now.
That should be the fact that every network picked it up. When I saw SportsCenter, who's owned by the mouse Disney, they're talking about it on SportsCenter, and then like you got mascots at baseball games doing it, and you're like, oh, this is it. This is like
I've never none of us the kind of guys that cheat. We're not those guys,
right.
But I've never understood the mentality. Like, what do you think? How do you think this plays? Name a cheater who's like gotten away with it.
But how unhappy are you though? Like, why? If you're that unhappy, just leave. What are you doing?
I understand it's complex. You got kids, like whatever, but. Damn, bro, like how did you think that was going to end? If it wasn't on camera nationally, which is probably not the ending anybody expected,
right?
Somebody at your company, there were other employees in that suite with you. You didn't think someone was going to say something at some point in time?
At some point in time. There was a shot, okay, from like...
The arrogance,
right? From a different angle where it kind of... Because they were on the upper deck.
Yeah, you could see the employees next to him who knew. Exactly.
They're all there. But there was a shot where right before they got put on the screen, you could see them in the upper deck standing, and everybody else was sitting.
Yeah.
How arrogant are you, bro?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
shine a light on me, brother.
Yeah.
Let's hold each other. And first of all, who goes to a concert like that without your wife?
A Coldplay concert.
I mean, come on, man.
I love Coldplay, personally.
I do too.
Yeah.
That's in the topic.
Yeah, I'm just trying to switch topics.
So as a reminder, the public school model imported from Prussia in the 1800s was engineered to create orderly, predictable workers, not entrepreneurs or independent thinkers. Go back to episode 291. We talk about it in detail. But let's talk about why, okay? Financial literacy teaches autonomy. If you understand the world of financial literacy, what we're trying to teach you on this show, casually, like two friends talking to you, you know, when the lights are off and everyone's just hanging out. That's the vibe we're trying to give you.
Yeah.
You know, autonomy breeds nonconformity, unfortunately, for companies. And that breaks this whole machine of conformity and complicit employees doing what you tell them to do at all times.
Right, the predictability, right, of what everyone's going to be doing.
Now, I believe there's a happy medium where you can allow professional, responsible adults to do what they need to do to make more money on the side without overreaching as a company. I don't think that an employee should have 2 40-hour-a-week full-time jobs that require you to be working at the same time.
I completely agree. I think that nobody should be able to work them simultaneously even, right? Like, I mean, there might be certain instances where that might be the case, but for the majority of people working like corporate jobs, right, you can't be working them simultaneously. It's got to be like we talk about, 9 to 5 and then a 5 to 9.
But that's my problem, is I've seen way too much of corporate America trying to reach into the 5 to 9 to try to control that time. And it started with, I think, COVID. There were people who abused the system during COVID and worked 2 full-time jobs, 3 full-time jobs, taking in extra money. I'm not going to pass judgment. I think it's wrong. My personal opinion, but whatever. Then there were people who started side hustles, okay? And I understand a corporation going, okay, is Billy working on his side hustle during his normal business hours? And I would respond, is Billy getting his job done? Is Billy's performance what other employees would be? Then you shouldn't be reaching into Billy's side hustle after hours.
Especially if it hasn't created a conflict, right?
Right.
I mean, for the record, this show's being done on a Sunday. Right?
This show is always done after the hours of 9 to 5.
Right.
It's always done nights and weekends, and that's probably why it's been so difficult for us historically to get guests on. We've recently, because we're in a new studio, because we have guests that are willing to come after hours, many of which have jobs,
and people are willing to work with us as well with our schedule, right?
Which isn't always easy. We got somebody coming tomorrow night at 5 p.m., which is kind of strange, but look, it blows my mind that we're trying to clamp down so much on employees that we now bastardize entrepreneurial thinking. And to me, you're making people the black sheep who are assets to companies. If somebody thinks that way, okay, and they want more money, and they're not going to press you as a corporation to give them more money because they appreciate, hey, I get paid this to do this job for you.
Yeah, and I like my job. I like the people I work with. Right, I'm cool with what you're giving me.
So if you as a corporation are saying this is bad and it's not interfering with their work product, are you saying that the idea of them possibly leaving to take this on full time is enough of a threat to you to press them? Because that bothers me. And I think that in some ways, and I'm going to say this out loud because it's the quiet part, I think a lot of it has to do with jealousy from coworkers who don't do that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
and if you're a coworker who's underlying look at Billy, he's over there doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, why don't you go do something in your spare time besides stalking Billy, you psychopath?
There's that.
You know what I mean? Like that's not normal behavior. But we all deal with it. It's corporate America. So let's get into it. Compound interest is more powerful than any wage you're going to earn. Yet it is not taught to most K through 12 curriculums. Instead, we are given abstract math like geometry proofs and algebraic equations, useful to a minority of careers. If you're an engineer, perhaps if you're in some type of banking or something like that, then maybe these things will be very, valuable for you. But for the average person trying to build wealth, you don't need to figure out the area in a triangle with the Pythagorean theorem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Sure.
So it's a huge part of what should be standardized curriculum that's missing in high school. The average graduate, won't know how credit cards work, how interest is compounded, what inflation is, how it erodes purchasing power.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just completely not taught in school. I mean, there are some elective courses. Someone's inevitably going to get my DMs. Yeah, those are rare. Okay. What a 401k, IRA, index fund is, or more importantly, how they work. How do you graduate school supposed to be an employee for corporations in this system built by the Rothschilds, the Vanderbilts, the JP Morgan, and they don't even tell you the benefit they're going to give you because they don't want you to understand it.
Right. They don't even want you to understand how to deposit a check, how to write a check, right? Like, luckily for this new generation, we're part of the old generation, my friend. I'm sorry. I mean, the beers kind of explain it all.
Yeah.
But it's sad. When I graduated high school, the term compound interest wasn't even in my zeitgeist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
It sounded like a really cool saying.
Ooh, compound interest. That sounds dope.
Yeah. I want to compound.
Yeah, I love compounding.
Love pounding.
Right?
Right, Virgil?
Right, Virgil? But now with social media, you got enough people, right, that are preaching these images, and you're going to get into this a little bit later, right? On these novelty concepts that now make them feel like, oh, look at me, I'm so more well-read than you, and look what I know. I could teach you this, because they know it's not being taught over here where you should have learned it, right?
Yeah.
And it's like compound interest should be taught like literally junior year, sophomore year, freshman year. Why not?
Let me give you a real tactile example of this, okay? For a long time, I openly criticized every asshole on the internet who was saying, let me teach you about Airbnb arbitrage. Because financial arbitrage, the ideology of it, is not taught in school unless you've taken some finance-based class where you realize that every financial decision you make is effectively arbitrage. The idea of somebody saying Airbnb arbitrage sounds sexy as hell. Oh my God, that sounds...
I don't know about you, bro, but I'm trying to arbitrage.
I'm trying to arbitrage.
Yeah, I want to do all the tragedy.
I want to get all that. And I don't have to put any money into it. This sounds amazing. Yeah. And I told everybody, hey, don't do this. And guess what? How many people you see selling those courses now, huh? They almost vanished overnight. You want to know why? Because it wasn't sustainable.
Yeah.
But they were selling this sensational ideology of you can get into real estate with little or no money and make way more money than you could just renting a property. And it's like, okay, you're taking one of the oldest trades known to man, renting property long-term to long-term tenants, and you're bastardizing it with hybrid technology, and then you're putting yourself on the hook for a mortgage payment. And some people are like, no, you don't need to get a mortgage. You can just rent a property and then just sublet that property. Subleasing in almost every single residential lease across the country is a technical default of your lease, okay? It's prohibited in the lease agreement.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, you can find some of the corporate lease. Okay, stop.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Yet every kid on the social media was like, I can get rich doing this. And I like those kids. I don't mean to make them sound like they're bad people. Those kids are the kids who don't fit in the educational system who want more.
Right. Exactly. That's a positive way of thinking about it. Yes. Did they go down the wrong avenue to try to obtain like what they're, that level of wealth?
It's not them I'm mad at. It's the guys peddling this shit that I'm mad at.
Right. And then it's like, okay, you use that time and energy towards something that you shouldn't have, but keep that same focus and now apply it to other things that are more legitimate, right?
Understand that you can have a non-conformist mentality. You cannot be a good student and be an amazing entrepreneur, but none of that comes overnight, and it does take hard work, okay? So by the time these kids graduate school, they learn the Pythagorean theorem, they've learned about the Civil War, they've got the understanding of mitochondria and the DNA, which, if you're me and you like peptides, you geek out on it, but there's no real value in work for that. It's not going to make you rich.
Right. There's a class. There's a class on government. It's teaching you all the different branches and that what everybody does, right? And teaching you about the U.S. Supreme Court. And you're like, okay, cool. Like this is all really cool. But I can't. Here's the thing. I can't even change any of that. I want to be able to change my future. Teach me something that's going to help me change my future.
Yeah. And we don't really study entrepreneurs at all. Think about every like social notable figure you studied in school. They're all W-2 employees. They're all W-2 employees. There's not a single person you've gone like, oh, this guy started a company. Let's talk about him in school.
Right.
Every single figure you've ever, I mean, Rajil, can you name one figure from high school, college that you studied that was a non-W-2 employee? Saied?
I was just naturally going to 1984, George Orwell.
Yeah.
That's what my mind naturally went to. By the way, I love that book too.
Fantastic book.
Yeah,
one of the best.
Yeah.
But again, there wasn't a single like historical figure you typically studied.
No, right, exactly.
I mean, other than maybe an artist.
Right.
Like Picasso or something. But you didn't really study that in school either.
No.
You know, maybe if you had an art class or something. You know what I mean? But most of the people you learn about, George Washington, W-2 employee.
There you go.
Didn't make a lot of money, believe it or not.
Right.
Now, these people are notable figures in the ecosystem. That's who you should aspire to be. Be a notable figure inside the ecosystem, Saied.
In the ecosystem, that's a good point.
I'd rather be rich.
Yeah, I'd rather be rich, off the grid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't even know who I am?
I want to be on the island somewhere.
That's all I'm saying. So this is not neglect. It is designed. None of this stuff will help you escape the paycheck to paycheck living. Again, by design. So it's amazing to me that here we are decades later from when these systems were instituted, and no one has changed this. That's not an accident.
Right.
That's not like, oops, we forgot. Okay, this is now intentional, clearly intentional. So if people understood money, they would ask more questions. Do you really want your employees asking more questions?
Probably not.
In a lot of cases, the answer is no. I have been criticized openly for challenging people. And I know everybody's got the boss. You know, Scotty, I love being challenged. He doesn't mean that, Scotty.
You got Billy, you got Scotty.
Don't fall for that trap. And we all know what Scotty does. Fuck out of here. I ain't asking you. I ain't challenging him.
You're right. You're
right, boss.
Yeah.
I like being challenged too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, it's a trap. We all know that.
Yeah.
But they all say that stuff. Right? So why am I taxed more for my labor than someone is on their investments? That's a logical question. You're taught not to ask it. Why does inflation rise but wages stay stagnant? That's a logical question as an employee.
Right. There you go.
A couple years ago, a lot of employees that worked for me that I knew were like, hey, man, inflation's up 9.1%. I got a 3% salary increase. I got a 5% salary increase.
And that's something.
This is me falling behind.
How is it that you don't learn this until you become a finance major, right? Some type of business major in college, that inflation erodes your buying power, right? And it's like, yeah, in theory, like you can kind of piece it together, like, oh, okay, inflation, prices, things go up, but like my money it can't buy me as much anymore. Yeah. But like how over time, when it compounds, how bad does it get, right? What can you do to offset that? How is the fact that these things aren't taught? We all should be asking ourselves why. Why are we not asking for these things to be taught?
So let me tilt this in a way that I think most people don't ever really stop to appreciate. Compound interest, you think about it in the context of I put money in this account, and over the course of 20 years, I'm going to be rich. And people on the internet, they lose their mind. They get pissed off. Chris, I don't want to be a millionaire by the time I'm 45.
Yeah, my viral video, people are hating on it.
Yeah, okay, don't. Oh, why you guys go back?
It's got to be the plug, bro.
Yeah. That being said, every time I say it hurts my feelings because I am 45. but it's also.
I feel young, bro. I don't feel like I'm old.
I feel young too, but the reality is we're not. No. I'm definitely not. That being said, I get it. I get that you don't want that. But what people don't realize is that what also compounds over time is inflation. So if it went up 9% last year and it's still going up 2% this year, and it goes up 1% next year and 3% the year after that and 2% the next year after that, that's compounding too, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Which means the cost of living is getting increasingly more expensive, but your salary is not getting increasingly larger commensurate with that.
True.
So we're always thinking about compound interest and the idea of saving, but you're not thinking about it in the idea of spending every single day. Go back and look at how much eggs, dude. I grew up in the 80s. Okay, laugh now. Get it out of the way.
Oh, me too. Hold on,
Come
me
on.
too. Hold on, me too.
I remember when
my mom's on the end, the later portion.
I remember a movie costing $3.50.
Dang.
And it was cheaper, obviously, before that. But now you go to a movie theater, it's $20.
Yeah, I know. Seriously.
You want those recline seats? $25.
Yeah. During the summer, we've been trying to find ways to keep the kids busy, and we found out like on Tuesdays, the first showing of the day, tickets are really cheap, and they're like $9. So I'm like, we're happy about it. $9 for one ticket.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't even go to the movie theaters that much anymore, and I used to love it. It's extortion. What is this?
Egg prices adjusted for inflation.
Yeah, look
from
at that.
1995 to 2022. Wow.
Yeah, it's insane.
Look at that hockey stick.
Yeah, if eggs prices are going up like that, and everything around you buy is effectively going up on some level, whether or not to this degree or not, compound interest is affecting you whether you understand it or not, because everything around you is getting more expensive.
Yeah, man.
And if you're settling for your salary and a 3% increase every single year, but inflation's 9%, you are falling behind. That's just math, kids.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's just math.
It's true.
Math that you're intentionally not taught. Financially literate population would challenge corporate power, would negotiate higher wages, reject predatory debt, and pursue ownership over employment. Ownership over employment is going to be a big part of what we're going to talk about today. Saied, you have a quote here that you're supposed to read me.
I am. It's a financially educated citizen is harder to exploit, and exploitation is profitable. Always.
It just feels a little forced whenever I ask you to say it.
I was getting there, bro. You didn't let me get there on my own.
But yeah, absolutely true. So what we're trying to do with the show is to weaponize education to make you a less exploited person. You can still work in corporate America. Matter of fact, most of the listeners who listen to the show do. Not saying don't do it. I'm going to give everybody on the show the same piece of advice that was given to me years ago, which has made me financially the person I am today. Okay? It's simple. Most of your net worth is going to come from what you do between the hours of 5 to 9, and most of your income should come between the hours of 9 to 5.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And over time, that income will transition to growing on its own passively. But when you start, for anyone, whether you own a business or not, how you invest that money and what you do when you are not at work will be the meaningful difference between whether you are wealthy or not wealthy 20 years from now.
True. And I'm going to take this even a step further. I don't think it's just a financially educated person. It's just an educated person all around. We talk about financial literacy on this show, and that's the primary driver, but it's all aspects of life, right? And if you're not, you will get exploited. That's just, as humans, that's just nature, right? Yeah. That's what people try to do. That's what animals try to do.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of a scary, sad reality.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some facts that make you think about this in a different context. And a 2023 TIAA Institute study found that U.S. adults could only answer about 50% of basic financial literacy questions correctly. I say that because most people who listen to the show are interested in financial literacy and finance and business, and they're going, well, Chris, it's not that big of a deal. I understand these concepts. Well, most people don't.
Right, exactly.
So you were probably an outlier statistically based on your financial knowledge, just if you've been listening to the show for a couple of months. Only 17 states in the U.S. require a personal finance course for high school graduates as of 2024. So there are some states that do offer these courses. Now, are they the backbone of their education? No. It's just one course typically, and generally speaking, you're required to take some basic financial, like, hey, balance checkbook. Yeah, it's good. I'm not bastardizing it. That's good, but it's far from where we need to be.
But we talked about it on the top of the show that real power is in the ownership of things like your businesses and your assets, right? And rich people who consider themselves rich or wealthy, don't work for their money. Their money works for them, and that's a kind of cliche statement that you hear a lot of people say, but like break that down. What does that mean?
Yeah. So ownership's a game, and none of us were invited to it because we were supposed to not own the vehicles with which make money. The Vanderbilt
real money, not your salary.
Yeah. And as you get older, we all have that friend. Okay. And I'm going to set up a hypothetical here. We all have that friend who makes a lot of money, and you secretly are like, fuck that guy. Right?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Like, I support you, bro. Like, respect, but fuck you. Like we all have that guy.
There's one guy.
You know, and there's always one or two like around you, and you're like, how did this happen? And the sad reality is that they own something. And you and I, as former underwriters, probably know better than most that owning a small business is super underrated.
Right.
People always want to have this big company and all this big stuff. Owning a small business that provides you consistent income that you own entirely, never mind the freedom from corporate America, never mind that you don't have to deal with HR and corporate politics, but just that structure of owning a business has been, in my experience, from the probably thousands of people I've underwritten over the course of my career, has been the most consistent path to wealth and happiness that I've ever seen.
So I recently had a conversation with my dad. So my dad's been the backstory behind my parents and their family, right, is they were a very wealthy family in Afghanistan back in the day. But when the country was invaded and they had to flee the country, they lost everything, right? And they had to flee the country at 19 years old.
Which is insane when you think about it in the context of what we were doing.
I mean, I'm just thinking about like they flew over to Germany initially, then they lived in, my parents got married in France, and then 2-3 years later, they ultimately ended up in Southern California, right? And
it's
crazy, right? And my dad went from being like one of the richest families in Afghanistan to now being a mechanic, right? And because of his love for cars, but he had to actually get his hands dirty for the first time. And he fell in love with it, and he built a business. And I remember, and I'm kind of like, not like hard on myself for it, but growing up, I had other friends that had like, I guess parents who had like corporate jobs, and I'd be like, oh, like I like that my dad he's a mechanic, whatnot, but like, man, he's like working hard. I'm seeing my dad change tires. He's coming home, hands are really dirty, you know. And
I got to be honest, man. When I was a kid, I looked down on mechanics.
Yeah.
And as an adult, I fucking wish I could do that for every day.
So then I literally, a couple weeks ago, I was like, I never stopped to give him a call and just say, Dad, I am so proud of you, man.
Yeah.
I am like, I don't know if anybody's ever told you that, but I am so proud that you did that on your own and you built something on your own. Because right now, the age that I'm at, and I compared it to how old I was when he started it and all throughout high school, and I said, I would have been too afraid to do it. And you weren't. And you did it. And I'm freaking proud of you because
you probably didn't have a choice.
Like, that takes cojones, man.
Yeah. And he also didn't grow up in the U.S. educational system.
Think about it.
He grew up in a world where most people in Afghanistan in that time owned their own businesses.
Yeah, and I'm not saying he became super wealthy, rich here, right? But like, look, he owned a home. He supported his family all off his own back, and he started his own business.
And this is gonna get a little esoteric, but bear with me. He's probably a happier human being because he wasn't dealing with so much of that corporate ecosystem. Yes, there's something to be said for a guaranteed check, going on vacations and getting paid, having healthcare be cheaper.
Right.
But there's also something to be said for independence, owning your own business, making your own rules, figuring out how you want to do things. And yeah, when you own your own business, you wind up working more hours. But as a guy who now is no longer in the corporate American ecosystem, I've worn nothing but shorts for like the last 6 weeks.
Oh, yeah, you've been activating those glutes, bro. I know they'd be calling you out of the gym.
No, but I'm legitimately sarcasm.
Feeling comfortable.
I literally haven't worn a suit since I left the job. Probably won't be wearing one anytime soon. Don't know exactly what I'm going to do next. But I've been able to wake up, take my son to school in the morning, go to the gym with my wife, come here to the studio, and just kind of work on my side quest and figure this stuff out for 8 hours a day. There's no one who's pushing, teams meetings and schedules on me. And your dad probably had a lot of that freedom.
Yeah.
And it probably made him a happier human being in some ways.
Yeah. No, definitely. And he said, he stopped and he's like, no, let me tell you why I'm proud of you and this and that. And I was like, no, Dad, we're going to stop. You're just going to have to accept these flowers right now and just appreciate that somebody else is appreciating you right now in this moment.
I got to have that conversation with my dad too. My dad he worked for somebody else early on when he came to the country. But he started off as a janitor.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, he was working as a janitor at nights while he was in school. And him and his best friend who passed away of cancer started a janitorial company, and they just got a bunch of late night janitorial contracts.
Oh, wow.
They thought they were living the American dream back then. My dad was cleaning, I think at the time, as a beneficial finance
Okay.
at night, and he saw one of the guys there working late who was making pretty good money. Asked him, "What do you do? Like, what do you guys do here? Like, what, blah blah blah." And that's how he got into mortgage and lending back then.
Mm.
And he originally started off working for somebody else in corporate America,
Okay.
and that adjustment for him was not ideal.
And then they ultimately branched off on his own.
To this day, he has this palpable and very open, clear disdain for corporate American just businesses in general.
Wow.
You got to work for yourself. You got to work for yourself. And he's always said that to me. And I always thought, naively so, I'm like, this guy just can't make it. He can't hack it in America, corporate America. He's not that guy.
Right.
Right. And
Our younger selves, that's what I would think too. I'm like, you don't know how to play the game, bro. You don't know the political game that you got to play. That's why you can't do this. But now I look back, I'm like, you were so smart for not trying.
I told Joanna, my wife, the other day, I said, I hate to say it, but he was fucking right.
Yeah, he's right.
He was right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was wrong.
Mhm.
I thought that he could not make it in that ecosystem. Maybe that's partially true, but he wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
You
And I don't want to trash all corporate jobs, right? 'Cause,
No.
I mean, me personally, I still have one, right?
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful for the one that I have, and it still, like I said, provides me a lot of opportunity for my family.
I might get another one if y'all know somebody who's hiring. Let me know.
Well, accepting applications right now. Yeah.
Hook about that up.
Right. But and so like I'm not ungrateful for what I have now. It's just there's a level of freedom on that side that you can appreciate. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So public education by design prepares you to become a worker, not an owner. We know that. Again, as a reminder from public school, it teaches you to follow the rules, be punctual, work well with authority, perform on standardized metrics, right? You know you're going to be compared to your peers. It doesn't teach you how to acquire real estate, build a business, own intellectual property, invest in appreciating assets. And the game is not about earning. I know we all think about how much do you make? How much does this guy make? How much does that person make? It's about owning. What do they own?
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you right now, I didn't realize that when I started to acquire things. I was just thinking about the earning side of it. And that was the wrong idea. I was thinking too near term. I was thinking, like, this property makes me $400 a month. Well, that property making me $400 a month doubled in value, tripled in value. And now I have the luxury of, I think last year we talked about it on the show. I had a huge tax bill. I just sold the property to pay for it, which is part of the reason why I bought this property that we're in today, was because I wanted to get back up to the same number of properties I had before because I've got just
it's a
mental
game.
problems.
Yeah, it's a game.
It's a game, but it's important. If you were taught that owning is more important than earnings, you'd realize that wealth doesn't come from labor; it comes from leverage. And as a real estate guy myself, I can absolutely say this is 100% something that I believe in. This is also why these concepts are almost always exploited by social media gurus and charlatans. They know these concepts weren't taught in school, so all the things they say to you sound novel and cool and unique because nobody has gone so far to teach you these things before, so they have to be meaningful.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And you see, Grant Cardone owns a lot of real estate. Does he though? No. And therein lies like the problem. If we had armed our kids better, then social media wouldn't be so provocative for this particular thing. So you already know the industrialists who founded the public schooling system, the Carnegie, the Rockefeller, the JP Morgans, weren't looking to create new capitalists to compete with them. They were looking for compliant employees to fill factories and follow these orders. You were never meant to own that business, buy rental property, invest in the market, and build generational wealth. And sure, some of those concepts have trickled in on a certain level, but as they've trickled in, the target is moved from being a millionaire like them to being a billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
If I told you, hey, Saied, can you become a millionaire in your lifetime? You'd probably be like, yeah. If you're a young kid, I could do that. If I said, will you become a billionaire?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a toughie.
Yeah, that's pretty challenging. It's a big obstacle, right?
So don't think because more people own a business or buy rental property or are building generational wealth, have 401ks that okay, we figured it out, the Carnegies, and then they were wrong. No. They moved the needle.
Mm-hmm.
Having those things won't get you to where they're at now. So
Yeah.
they don't mind you having them.
Right.
That make sense?
It does, yeah. And a lot of it has to do with, we talked about it in episode 291. It's the framework of our mindset. And on this show, we try not to dive into mindset too much because then it sounds very preachy and guru-y, right? Where you're like, we're trying to like push in. But in 291, we talked about the educational system and how it breaks down your mindset to where why would I don't want to put the thought into building a business. Let me just go work for somebody, make a good salary, have good benefits, be able to come home every night for dinner, right? Where it's like, it's too much work to have to build something myself. There's too many things that I need to figure out logistically in order to get this to happen, and just take the easier path. This way right here is easy. Just go down this path right here.
Yeah, and it's structured to be that.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I just recently heard about, and I didn't know this because now I'm unemployed and I haven't thought about new jobs in a long time. Somebody told me something that I thought was astonishing, that there's now a 60 or 90 day waiting period for healthcare benefits to kick in. When I got my last job, which is the job I just left about 20 years ago, and we built this company from the ground up, you had healthcare day one.
Day one.
And to me...
So what does that mean? So 60, 90 days.
It means you start a new company, you don't get healthcare coverage under their plan for 60 or 90 days.
Is that like that beginning period where they're testing out to see if they're going to keep you or not after 90 days?
Naturally, that's where my mind went, which to me said that the corporations are now taking the risk of picking a bad employee and putting it on the employee, saying if you don't work out, that's on you. You don't have healthcare coverage. You didn't cost any more money.
But then do they backdate the coverage or
no? You don't get coverage. So if you were to start today's July, if you were to start like August 1st somewhere, you'd have to wait September, October 1st, or November 1st, depending on what their policy was.
Wow.
And I'm going down the whole COBRA path right now because I'm unemployed, and this is kind of a conversation that's come up. But to me, you're passing off the risk to the employee on something is immaterial to the corporation as 2 months of healthcare, 3 months of healthcare. Like, that's wild, right? Like, what are we doing here where we're penalizing employees from jumping now? It's another prohibition against jumping companies.
Wow. Yeah, that's
right?
actually a really good point.
Because if you're a family of three, and so I'll give you myself as an example. I have a family of three, my wife and our 6-year-old son, to have healthcare, vision, and dental for a single month, it's like $3,500, right? If I were to pay out of pocket.
Ouch.
Right.
God.
So just 2 months of that, $7,000, 3 months of that, $10,500.
Yeah, I might think about rolling the dice on this.
So, but it's prohibitive to you switching jobs.
Oh yeah.
Right. So now companies have built in another way to make you think twice about leaping because of fear. And to me, I mean, that's wrong.
That's not even fear. That's directly hurting your pocket.
Yeah, so I want to take all the concepts we just talked about, and I want to distill them down into showing you real life examples of how this is not hyperbole on our part. Okay. We were trained to trade your time, our time, everyone's time for wages, then spend those wages on products owned by the people who never showed up to the job site at all. Okay. JP Morgan's not showing up to the job site. The Carnegies aren't showing up to the job site. They have people who run their companies for them. That's what we went to school to be, the people who run their companies for them.
Yeah, it's factual.
Right? Even the CEO, okay? You can be on the board, own stock in the company, and have a CEO work for you and be your puppet, frankly, for lack of a better word. So many people we talk to feel guilty not working more hours than 40 hours per week. I can't tell you how many people I talk to, like, oh, Chris, if I could just work more hours. I get more hours in.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
You were literally in a limiting mindset. And I know that sounds like every social media guru.
Well, it's very short. It's very short term, right? It's like, how can I hurry up and affect my pocket like right now versus like building something greater down the road. And unfortunately for some people, they're not in a position. Like, they've now worked themselves throughout this whole process and the system is kind of broken, right? Where it hasn't really worked out in everyone's favor. Like, if you just follow these rules, you'll make it. And for a lot of people, it hasn't. Just look no further than the housing crisis, right? The lack of affordability there. And they now feel like, okay, I have to trade my hours in for more money.
And I did this for way too long in my career. Now, I am a type A worker. I like to work. I'm always going to be putting in more hours. But as you get older, and this is a 45-year-old guy talking. I recognize that I'm in the older demographic, bunny ears here. I am now trying to find ways to trade time for money, right? So I'm looking for ways to work less and make more.
There you go.
And it's very counterintuitive. It's very like weird. Like, I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, I'm weird. Right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, there is no world where I'm going to continue to trade hourly wages for time. I was recently asked to consult.
I think Mind Pump talks about this too. It's interesting that do the least amount of work that'll elicit the most amount of change.
Yeah, but that concept is scary because it's counter to everything you were ever taught.
Right. So
And
they
you think-
talk about on the show, if I work out more, I'll work out more.
Mhm.
Like I'll get bigger, I'll get stronger, I'll get faster. Really, no, you're hurting yourself.
Yeah,
You have to find what's optimal, not tolerable.
that's right. And as you find what's optimal, you continue to optimize. You don't settle. So the goal is to work out as little as possible to get the results that you want or need.
Yes.
And not, I'm going to work out as much as possible to get those results, because that's, number one, not sustainable. It's not optimal, and you're wasting time.
Mm-hmm.
Time is the only resource here. So I want to put this in a clear perspective for everybody. So I want everyone to think about this, because it applies to everyone unilaterally. You spend 40 hours a week working, okay? Then you hand your paycheck over to a landlord who owns the home, who's not working for that ownership, right? You pay corporations who own the brands or products that you buy. They are not working 40 hours a week to sell you that product.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that product is there. It's effectively your passive income. Yeah, they're running a business.
The shareholders who own that own those businesses. Think of it if it's a publicly traded company, right?
Yeah.
They're not working for that investment.
That's right. Investors who own the stock.
There you
to
go.
Your point.
There you go.
Okay,
Yep.
they're not working. That CEO is working for them.
Mm-hmm.
Go make my stock worth more money.
Yep.
Okay, so everybody in the ecosystem of businesses is getting a chunk of your 40 hours per week, your time and money, but they are not putting in the same amount of time that you are to sell you that product.
Mm-hmm.
You're one of many people in their ecosystem.
Yeah.
And I say this not to diminish how hard corporations work or property owners work. I have lots of real estate, and I was sat down by a former boss at one point in time and asked about how much time I was spending working on the real estate. And I laughed and I said that the whole point of owning this is not to work on them.
Mm-hmm.
I have a property manager, an outside neutral third-party property management company that runs things. They have decision-making authority up to this dollar amount. And this person wanted to unpack every decision that I was making, how often I was making them. And I thought to myself, like, number one, this is ridiculous. Okay.
Why'd you hire me?
Yeah. Number two, it's none of your business. And number three, the fact that you have to ask me this assumes that I'm either stupid and run my business like a fool, or that you have some kind of superior position to me to where you think you can dive into my business like this.
Mm.
And I always thought it was ridiculous. But it goes to show you that owning property, owning something, small business, for example, has way more inherent value to you over time than working for somebody else's company.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's not to say that working for somebody else's company can't get you there into owning your own personal. And I want to be clear. When I say owning a business, I don't mean you have to be out running a restaurant or a online digital retailer or a podcast. What I mean is the business of your family. If you're a family of one, then your business of you. The hours between 5 to 9. Everything you do is a business. Like it or not, how you invest your money is a business. How you spend your money is a business. How you choose to take that money and what you choose to do with it is a business. My sister told me the other day that I have 3 nephews and nieces. 2 nephews, 1 niece. She tries to have $1,000 for every year of age they are in an account.
Yeah.
So naturally, the banker in me goes, "Where is that money?"
Yeah. What'd you do with it?
It's in a savings account, earning interest. And I thought, okay, you're missing out on compound interest over
So
time.
much, right.
You're missing out on low-cost index funds. I said, call me this week on Thursday. I'm going to set you up. We're going to go online. We're going to set up one of the accounts. You'll do the other 2 yourself.
Good.
We're going to set up whatever custodian you want, whether that's Charles Schwab or Fidelity or Robinhood.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to set this up to where you're going into something that's going to follow the market. And yeah, there's going to be some ups and downs, but over the long term, this has been statistically proven absolutely factual to make you more money.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's going to. And there will be years where it'll take a dip. But over the long run, it will make way more. So my son Adam recently helped out in the neighborhood lemonade stand.
Okay? Oh, really?
Yeah, he was holding up the sign, the whole thing. He made cupcakes and with my wife, and they sold them all. And at the end of it all, they divided up all the money for all the kids in the neighborhood to take home and do what you want with it, right? Then they came by and they dropped it off. And the next morning, I woke up and the money was sitting on my nightstand. And I asked him, I was like, buddy, like this is your money. Go put it in your wallet, or go give it to mom. And he's like, I don't want to give it to you. I want you to go invest it. I was so happy in that moment
Smart
that
kid.
he thought he's already thinking that way. And I asked him, I was like, well, how about we do this? How about you take some of it? It was only like $23, right? I was like, how about you take some of it and you keep it and you get to spend it on next time you and mom go to Target, you can just go buy something you want. He's like, Dad, I have everything already. What else do I need? Go invest it. I was like, let's go. Thank you. Right? Because what you said to your point earlier, about 6 months ago, something is one of the things I taught at we have a whiteboard, and because I found that with my kids, they like learning on the whiteboard, right? For whatever reason, it just makes it more fun and engaging, right? And I showed them there's consumers, there's business owners, and there's investors. And I showed them the consumer pays this person, the business owner, but the business owner is making money for the investor, and they're not doing anything. Just like you said, passive income, you're earning money over the long haul, right? And he's like, that for whatever reason resonated with him. And
I mean, at least it resonated, and he's young.
oh yeah, but he's still thinking like, I'm gonna buy all the Kobe's with it. I'm like,
Yeah.
there you go. There it is.
Trying to get more coverage with it. So maybe you should be the one who owns something. It's a simple concept that no one even offers up in school. And in fact, they go so far as to suggest that the desire to own is ambitious. It's incredible. And with no disrespect intended, most people who are teaching you are not business owners. They're W-2 employees as well. So to them, it might seem sensational or incredible. And I'll be the first to admit we do not pay our teachers. We do not respect our teachers enough.
I agree.
So it's a flawed system in many ways. And I don't think that the best entrepreneurs in the world are the best teachers, but certainly having entrepreneurs come in and teach people is different. Even the Bible suggested that greed is bad. And it's a constant thing that we see, and it's very polarizing. And I'm going to say something that's going to be very emotionally charged to a lot of people. So don't take this the wrong way. It may offend some, but religion is also a business that passively makes money off of you. Okay? Whether you like that or not, the narrative aligns closely with corporate America. Greed is bad. You need to fall in line. You need to contribute. You need to be obedient. You need to obey. It is no shock to many people who understand that concept that the single largest landowner in the world is the Catholic Church.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So you have to understand that a lot of the systems that were put in place in the educational process, which is tied very much when it started to religion, have very similar messages which have the same effect on controlling a population.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people are going to get really bad.
There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do both.
And there's no reason why you can't have morals and not go to church every single day.
Right. Or there's no reason why you can't like be a greedy person as far as like wanting to make more money and earn more money and still be considered a good religious person.
Yeah, there's no reason for that.
You could do it. You could do it ethically.
Yeah. Right.
You could do it with morals. There's plenty of people out there that operate their businesses that way.
But let's be clear, religion is also a business. And that's where I think people like really resonate. They go, oh my God, wait a minute. And you're like you're donating. Okay, you go consistently. You follow the rules.
There's a special tax code for them too, right?
There is, yeah, nonprofit. Religious nonprofits. Scientology tapped into it. That's how they got their big tax breaks. But when you start thinking about the concepts of how we've been brought up, and particularly when the whole ecosystem of school was rolled out in this Prussian system, and you think about how tied in and tapped in families were on an average basis across the country to religion, and in many ways still are, and just different religions, you wind up seeing that there's an inside the corporate American structure, there's an outside the corporate American structure, and there's an educational system, all three of which was where you spend the preponderance of your time in school, at work, or in church, and they all teach you the same behaviors.
It's true. Wow.
And that it's a scary thing because it leaves very little time in your day to be entrepreneurial.
Right. There's only so much time in the day. I mean, decision fatigue is real.
That fatigue is done. Think about this.
There's a lot of days I come home from work and naturally I just go, man, I so badly could just use a glass right now to just unwind and just sit here and just like relax, you know, because that's what I've just been conditioned to believe. Like you need that, but you go through so much in your day. It's like there's only so much time.
Yeah, I'm so glad I stopped drinking.
Yeah.
And when we were in Hawaii, not a single drink of alcohol. Regil, on the other hand,
my man,
boy,
good man,
hitting them licks, boy.
Throwing a couple back. What is your drink of choice, Regil?
Oh, over there it was a lychee soda, lychee vodka soda,
Lychee
So
vodka
good.
soda. Ooh, I haven't had vodka in a long time. Not really. Lately I've been a tequila guy.
Have you really?
Mm-hmm.
Thought you get violent when you drink tequila.
No, violent.
kidding.
I don't have a violent bone in my body.
You're the least violent person I know.
Yeah.
Unless we talk about basketball.
There you go.
All right. So examples that build wealth here. And yes, we're going to have a little bit longer show than normal.
Mm-hmm.
Stock. Instead of just working at Apple, the classic example is you could own Apple through shares. No school class teaches that. Social media does.
Mm-hmm.
Real estate, understanding how leverage cash flow and appreciation work changes lives. But it's rarely even mentioned in school. But social media teaches it via gurus selling courses all day long. Business equity, the biggest wealth generator in America isn't wages, it's private business ownership, yet schools teach entrepreneurship as an extracurricular activity, if at all. This is what Cody Sanchez taps into with her bullshit, trying to mimic a lot of what I buy businesses all day long. I'm a former Morgan Stanley person.
Oh, yeah. She does.
Yeah, you're full of shit, lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay? Don't come at me with, my experience or my resume and lie to my face like that, okay?
Right, ain't gonna work.
Let's be honest. You were not a male version of Alex Hormozy.
Trying to
okay?
be, though.
Trying to be hard. And good for you and your social reach. She's better at social media than me by far.
So, yeah, she takes...
But let's not lie about her
She takes
resume.
a different approach, right? With... Everything is very calculated. Even with Hormozy.
She's a sensational speaker.
Even though Hormozy makes it seem like it's not... I think he tries really hard and making it seem like I'm not trying hard. I'm just here to tell you about what can make you rich.
I know.
And it's like I'm in shorts. I'm in a tank top. I mean, it is what it is, bro. This is what you can do.
You want to go down this path? Let's go this path. Okay. Tell me what Alex Hormozy does for a living.
He wears an acquisition hat. That's what.
Acquisition.com.
Yeah,
right?
he wears that. Yeah.
He buys companies now.
Yeah,
that's what he does.
That's what he does. Yeah.
He's got a new CEO running acquisition.com.
Yeah. So what is that? What is that? Somebody who does that? Venture capitalist?
Essentially, it depends on how you do it and what your structure is. But yeah, you're going to buy companies. You're going to be the investor. And like you said, example, consumers buy from the business. Business pays the investor when the business makes profits.
So he's like an individual private equity.
Yeah, effectively. But again, is he? Do you have evidence of that?
I don't. That's what he says he does, though.
Yep. See, that's the problem with a lot of these people. And Cody Sanchez falls in this category. Alex Hormozy falls in this category. I don't have any problem with these people. Well, I have a little problem with Cody Sanchez. But I don't have a problem with them, I guess, in a meaningful way. It's more just me being butthurt.
Mm-hmm.
They're fantastic speakers, great social media presence. They tap into an audience. Good for you.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. They're doing a good job, yeah.
Clearly better than us. But that being said, what have you done that's verifiable? Other than you saying at least Alex Hormozy's written books. Good, great.
But why is it like? Let's have an open discussion about this. Why do people buy into it?
I don't dislike Alex Hormozy, by the way. I don't have a problem. I'm just saying.
Why do people not care about validating anything that they say? They just accept it as gospel. Why? Why do you think that is? Why have they been conditioned to train and be like, oh, this guy, he knows what he's talking about?
Well, in the case of someone like a Hormozy, like I think that he's done enough and been around long enough to where people go, okay, he's got a track record, whether you know what it is or not. But I think for a lot of people that they go, okay, well, I want what this person has.
But like, what was he selling? Was he selling it? He wasn't selling a course, was he?
I
know he sold a book.
He sells mentorship. He gave a book away for free.
Oh, he sells mentorship.
He did at one point in time.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, there you go.
So $100 million offers.
$100 million leads is one that he just came out with. The gym launch secrets, because that's what he started off, was launching gyms.
Yeah.
There you go. Go down there. People also ask. He started his entrepreneurial journey turning brick and mortar gyms, running brick and mortar gyms after taking some good advice from Russell Brunson.
See, unfair to throw Chris Williamson in there. I don't think he fits that same mold.
He ended up selling those gyms and eventually licensed his business model to start the company Gym Launch, which scaled to over 4,000 plus locations in 4 years. I got to be honest. I've seen no evidence of that. No. Other than the books and other than his social media presence, I don't know of anybody. And maybe I wouldn't from soul sucking job to $120 million in revenue. How Alex Hormozy, blah 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 blah. But this is on Yap. Young and Profiting. Okay, that lady's podcast, her name's Yala or Hala, whatever the fuck her name is.
Yeah.
that podcast is completely full of shit.
Oh, we did a deep dive into that.
And Adam from Mind Pump went on the show, and I was like, bruh. He's like, bro, what? And I'm like, nothing. I didn't want to go there. I'm like, I love you, dog. I don't want to go here. Like, I love you.
Yeah. The numbers are a little skewed.
The numbers are a little skewed. But that's the problem, too, is that even that guy from the social, whatever the hell platform's got zero personality. Fuck.
What social platform?
You know what I'm talking about, that weird looking curly haired dude who rents out the place at the MGM.
Oh, runs out the place. At the MGM?
From damn it, Jeff and I were talking about. He bought like 12 million fake followers.
It's the guy that does like 6 shows a day.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Digital social hour. That guy.
Yeah.
He's complete. But these guys who fake it till they make it, they actually make it.
Right.
So I'm like, every time I go online, I'm like, I just need to buy a couple million like followers. Just
That's
I
it.
don't even care.
That's it.
You know, just get a couple million followers. I'll just pay for them.
And pay for some guests to come on. Go the PBD route.
And look, I got no problem with Alex Hormozy, his wife Layla Hormozy. I know a lot of people who really follow her for like that female segment. I don't really know Iman Ghazi. I've heard some bad things. Chris Williamson's got a great podcast. Cody Sanchez, I want to punch right in the face.
I like Chris Williamson.
I don't like her.
He's so nice to listen to.
This guy, Digital Social Hour,
Sean Kelly,
literally has no personality. Like, none. Like, you look at him, he is, the only thing I can say about him is he's tall.
He's tall?
Yeah, he's tall. He's a tall, goofy looking kid. Like, there he is right there. That's him.
Wow.
Yeah. He has no personality. Like, you hear him talk, you're just like, oh God, this is painful.
He'll talk about anything, huh?
Yeah. It's yeah.
Interesting. All right.
It's a whole thing.
Not a fan.
All right. Well, look, I'm going to cover some statistics and we'll cut the show a little bit shorter than the full breadth of what I wanted to cover because we're getting a little long in the tooth here. So, consequences of the blind spot in entrepreneurship, they're real or meaningful. The top 10% of Americans own over 89% of the stock market. Okay? That delta is because they were taught things you weren't.
Yeah, repeat that again. The top 10%?
The top 10% of Americans own over 89% of the stock market.
Come on now.
Real statistic. The bottom 90%, they hold most of the debt.
Wow.
Yeah. So think that through. The top 10% who owns 89% of the stock market has the least amount of debt.
Yeah.
61% of millennials say they were never taught about investing. 61%
of millennials.
Less than 15% of public schools grads report understanding how to build equity in anything. Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Debt is a control tool. They taught you how to apply for student loans, but not how to manage or avoid them. Credit cards, car loans, and mortgages keep people locked into the rat race and working for that W-2 wage, the same way that gap in coverage in healthcare does.
Well, we're not going to stop till some of these statistics go up.
Debt literacy is as vital as reading, but intentionally ignored. My 6-year-old knows how to read.
Yeah, there you go.
You know?
And we talked about it. There was articles that came out that there was a huge percentage of the population that just refused to open their credit card statements. I don't know. I'd rather not know.
Yeah, dude, I'm like that.
I think about that Mario song. I don't wanna know. Come on.
I know the song, but I'm not gonna sing
Come on, help me out, bro. Don't leave me hanging, bro.
It's a great song. So we're gonna end the show on this. Okay. Debt doesn't just finance your education or lifestyle, it shapes your decisions. You can't leave a toxic job because you have a car note. You can't start a business because you owe Sally Mae your student loans. You can't take a risk because you have too many obligations, and that's the point. Debt doesn't just buy things. It buys compliance, your compliance. So think about that when you're trying to pay down debt. It really, truly is freedom. If you work hard, play by the rules, and get an education, you will live a good life. That is a myth. It takes more than that now. I got a lot more here, but we can go into it. There's data which talks about how worker productivity since 1979, we talked about this in episode 271, has increased by 70%.
I know, that really blows me away. The productivity is increased, yet they're like, no. I know your productivity has increased and you could probably finish your work within 40 hours, but I need you to come into the office.
Yep. But in that same time, real wages have only gone up about 6 to 10%. So while companies are seeing 70% more profitability and productivity, well, productivity, not profitability, right? They're getting 70% more efficiency from their workforce.
Some of that has to do with obviously the advancement in technology.
Yeah,
right?
but shouldn't you pass some of that benefit along to your employees?
Or more.
Employees only making
more than
6 to 10% more since 1979.
Right.
We know just last year alone, inflation went up 9.1%.
But we're also part of the problem, right? Yeah. As investors, you're expecting a return. It's like a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Right? As investors, we're like, I need you to outperform your earnings last quarter, right?
That's right.
So I don't know. There needs to be some type of systemic shift, and let's not get it twisted, as the kids will say.
I don't think they say that anymore. I think we're old.
Let's say, I think I'm gonna keep it alive, bro. Don't get it twisted. That's got to be in your arsenal.
Oh, this is gonna be a tough conversation. Saied, you don't have the social cachet or the youth to keep it alive with.
Come on, bro. The stripes don't do it.
No, that definitely would not be. Although this dude, can we have a? Why are cutoff shirts coming back?
The crop, yeah.
I don't. Why is everybody talking about crop?
I'm not gonna lie. So I don't have. No, hold it.
I will spray you with a water bottle.
Jason from Pleasures gave me a shirt. Right, they're heavyweight, oversized.
Wait, you got a shirt?
I did get a shirt. Yeah.
Hey, Regil, did you get a shirt?
No, y'all are getting it. The care package is coming. Hold on.
Well, that seems very convenient.
The care package.
Or did it already come, Saied?
No, I know. I'm handpicking. Ooh, I like it. First of all, the crop top ain't gonna fit you. Okay, you're, as you said.
That's Highest.
You coined yourself.
That's Highest.
I against you.
No, this is style.
No, this ain't it.
That's style.
That's not style. That's not style. That's Bollywood. That's Bollywood came out with this first, bro.
You know what that is, right?
But he looks really familiar.
Come on, Adam Sandler's movie, boy.
Which one?
First Dates.
Oh, 50 First Dates.
Yeah, that's the brother who was on steroids.
I think Happy Gilmore 2 is coming out soon.
It's already out. I was on Netflix. I was gonna watch it last night, but
it's already out.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Out.
Oh, that might be tonight.
I watched Deadpool and Wolverine again.
Oh, man, but I don't know if my wife's gonna like it. I don't know if she liked the first one.
Hey, Regil, you want to know how you know if you're whipped?
This boy whipped. Yeah.
I don't know if I can watch it because my wife won't like it.
No. She'll watch it with me, but it's like it's not the same. If you watch a movie with someone that isn't vibing to, you're kind of killing it by not laughing.
Nothing's worse than when you look over and they're on their cell phone,
and you're like bro, I don't want to watch this with you.
Yeah.
This is I'll watch it by myself. It's fine. But
I demand obedience.
What I was gonna talk about is, I should have probably found a way to weave it into the show earlier, but the tax code, right?
Yeah.
It was designed in a way to tax the W-2 worker.
100%.
And there's a reason why the tax rate is lower for people who invest, right? And there are tax breaks for business owners.
Yeah.
Right? There's a reason for that, right? So
a great example of this is, and I've routinely said this is not like revolutionary. I have made historically more money outside of work than I have inside of work, even as an executive of a publicly traded company.
That's a good point.
And it's not because I'm making more in gross income. It's because my net after taxes on that income is very different than what I was making.
I thought you were going to say you made a lot more in the relationships that you've built over the years outside of work.
Oh, they're sensational. I love them very much.
Yeah,
you want to write me a check? Pay my Cobra?
Yeah, you what? Pay your Cobra? No, bro. $3,500
a month, man.
Yeah, that's enough to end the friendship, bro. You're on your own.
Damn, my mortgage is $1,700 a month.
That's true.
What's wrong with you? I know why they call it Cobra. That bitch will kill you.
All right. And if you say, yeah, why do they call it Cobra? That's kind of, yeah, exactly. What are you insinuating here?
Yeah.
Listen, if you stuck around this late in the show and you haven't left us an honest 5-star review, please go ahead and do so. If you do it, we will read at the end of the show like I'm about to right now. Or if you're watching us over on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, ring that notification bell, do all the moist, goody good stuff. We got one.
Oh, we got a new review?
We got one from. Yeah,
it's been so
don't do this.
It's been so damn long. Where this is. I forgot what this part of the segment was like.
You know what's going on here. Yeah, they ready, bro. They're coming after the paper hands.
Are they really? Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah. Do tell.
Yeah. So this from sorry for butchering, Jay Dirtit.
It sounds like you're a little sensitive.
Yeah,
and you're intentionally saying his name wrong.
What is that? High quality podcast, 5 stars. At least Jay. We'll call him JD. JD. Was honest, gave us 5 stars
because of my contribution.
Yeah.
Now your contribution's coming up.
Get out of here, bro. I don't have any hands. I never bought. I never sold. You're the one that sold. You got the paper hands.
Only because I didn't have the time to invest in staying with it.
No, you're just supposed to stay long term, bro. Diamond hands is holding, bro.
I held mostly Bitcoin and Ethereum too. It hurts.
You don't have to do anything.
Yeah,
what do you mean? I don't have the time. Here, that's the good thing. You don't have the time. Don't look at it. Just ignore it.
I sold before the crypto winter.
Yeah, there you go. Loved the last episode diving into the history of the USA government school system. I'm looking forward to Saied Omar. Dang, he gave first and last name. He's like,
technically both first names.
On the record, bro, yeah. Saied Omar admitting defeat to us Bitcoiners when it crosses 500,000 a coin. Might take years, but we'll get there.
If it crosses $500,000 a coin and we're still doing this show and we're not big enough for me to throw a party for you being like wrong, then I'm just going to stop doing the show.
Mind you, I think it was, I can't remember. I want to say it was Thursday last week, 300 billion liquidated in crypto.
Yeah, I was on an island in Hawaii not caring.
I mean, that kind of scary. So I had some stats here just for everyone to understand why I got the paper hens. Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
Just okay.
You're really going to do this?
Look, y'all are winning. You're right. You were right. I was wrong. But let me tell you just the understanding.
I don't know whether they were right, you were wrong. Look, it's just seen as the new hedge against inflation currently.
Currently, right?
It's the new gold.
Bitcoin has suffered peak to trough 80% losses 3 times.
Yeah.
3 times,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
Back in from 2013 to 15, 2017 to 18, 2021 to 2022. In 2022 alone, it fell from 50,000 to below 20,000. Kind of scary for me,
This is
personally.
what I would expect someone with paper hands to say.
Yeah, 100%. There have been multiple single month drops of 30 to 40%. I can't handle that much instability.
That's why I sold.
Yeah.
Is for me, it's not.
A single month drop of 30 to 40% is a
Now,
bit crazy.
I will admit, I made the mistake of selling because I couldn't handle that much amount of volatility when I bought to see it go up and down. And I didn't have the time to invest in understanding why it was going up and down.
Yeah.
So I sold because I'm like, look, this kind of volatility for me isn't what I'm looking for and how I invest, because all of my other stock, I just throw it in equities.
Yeah.
It's rare that like Apple's going to lose that much value in any. I mean, you'd have to go out of business effectively.
And let's call a spade, right? Over the last like several years, right? Look, the stock market is still hitting all-time highs. It's not like anything else I invested in didn't do well. It didn't perform the way Bitcoin has performed, sure. But like I was still seeing like so far, even now, year to date, I'm seeing 11% gains. I mean, I'm happy with that. I mean, could I have more? Sure. But 11% gains ain't bad. I'll take it.
I'm not going to lie, though. I regret selling.
Yeah,
I regret selling.
I regret not getting in.
I'm at a 7-figure loss on the selling. Bro, I've done the math.
Stop it.
It's bad. Yeah. I had a lot in Bitcoin and Ethereum.
A 7-figure loss. That's
Yeah.
that. Yeah, don't do the math, bro.
No, I did it.
Didn't school teach
I
you to
did
stop
it.
doing math? Stop. Don't do it. Don't learn anymore.
It makes me emotional. It's not good.
But here's the thing: if you didn't, would you have sold now? Like, what's your exit?
That's a good question.
Like, do you think this is actually a really good conversation, maybe to
didn't
have for a later episode?
I didn't have the time to really formulate. Like a lot of the crypto guys.
Would you formulate a plan? Would you be like, all right, when we cross a certain threshold, a percentage?
Oh yeah, I would have had a disposition strategy for sure. Yeah,
a certain percentage. I'm gonna be liquidating, and then I'll keep going a little bit further.
Yeah, I would have probably pulled out what I thought was a reasonable amount of profits, including my original investment, and just left the rest in there to sit.
There you go.
But I didn't have the time then. I do now. Ironically, unemployment's got its benefits. I didn't have the time to really understand crypto. So a lot of these crypto guys were on X. They were on chat forums. They were places that I just didn't have the time to invest in getting into and really like spending time to nerd out on it because I was building other things.
Yeah.
So I chose to invest in this show, which has cost me probably 7 figures at this point in time. So, I mean, hey, we all make bad decisions. You know what I mean?
We got to get a return, bro.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Virgil, you've been quiet tonight, brother. You okay?
Yeah, what's happening, bro?
Oh yeah, I'm all good.
He's behind the curtain. He's
Yeah.
I closed the curtain on your relationships. You guys can't see each other.
You can see him,
Yeah,
though.
I can see it. It's fine.
I feel the disconnect between us.
Yeah,
now.
you didn't like this. Yeah, I got a lot of people hitting me up. They were like, "Damn, bro, you didn't get the invite to Hawaii? What happened? Trouble in paradise?" I'm like, "Nah, bro, they just vibe better without me. That's what it is."
Yeah.
I respect it. Good show, brother.
Yeah.
Regil, you got anything else?
I got one meme.
I like it. Buying, holding, selling.
Pumped. I don't get it.
Pumped?
Yeah.
When it pumps back up, but you sold everything.
Oh, because he already sold.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I got it.
That's you. This is you.
Yeah.
Was that why he's bald?
You.
Hasn't
Bro.
made the trip to Turkey yet.
No, but no.
Speaking of which, like I'm thinning up top again. I think it's the unemployment thinning my hair.
No, you're
Yeah.
not. You
Oh, yeah,
you
for sure.
overanalyze,
Well,
bro.
I realized this morning I had an epiphany.
What's that?
I don't have to fucking care about my appearance anymore.
Stop it.
Like,
You have
I
a
c-
show. You have a podcast. You position the lighting just right to not care about your
No,
appearance.
I want to be well lit. Doesn't mean I don't want to look like a caveman.
Stop it.
So I don't have to cut my hair.
You're gonna be the.
I can get more tattoos.
You get. Wait, are you
I can
gonna,
grow the beard out.
What was the guy that went crazy? The liver king. You want to look like
That's an
Liver
extreme example.
King? Well, I'm just saying, not care.
I'm just saying it's weird to be able to like do what you want, wear what you want. Like I'm not used to that anymore. Like I am used to being buttoned up and polished. I'm growing my hair out again, man.
Yeah.
The man bun's coming back, brother.
Let's go. Why? But
Yeah.
then you can't wear the hats, bro. Then you're gonna have like a.
No, I used to wear a hat with it.
You did?
Yeah,
But it was just hanging down low.
because I got kind of like the whole,
What? I don't know.
like the faux hawk thing going on. It's almost like a mullet / mohawk. Why are you making the face?
Moment of silence. All right,
Why?
man, that's it. We're gonna end the show with that. On your
Mullet
phone.
hawk?
On your phone.
That's coming, bro.
Let's go.
You better-
I'm in for it.
I'm coming. I'm getting all new tattoos. It's going to be all cryptocurrency on my left arm. That's all you see. It'll be Ethereum right there.
All right. You got anything, Regil?
No, I'm all good, man.
Christopher?
Nope.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.